So a lot of the challenge in the classroom is teaching them how to look deeper. So when you talk about an interesting
Yes.
problem, the answer isn't as simple as I can Google
Yes.
the answer to that. Not
Yes.
always,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You can Google an
Yes.
answer, but it's not necessarily going to be the answer. So
Yes.
it really is about teaching them how to dig, how to look deeper at issues and think more holistically about things.
Welcome to an episode of Strategic Conversations. We host very insightful discussions with top business leaders and top thinkers. So thank you for joining us today. We are hosting today Dr. Kenneth Medlock, the James and Susan Baker Fellow in Energy and Resource Economics at the Baker Institute, and the Senior Director of the Center for Energy Studies. Dr. Medlock has been invited to testify multiple times on Capitol Hill on energy-related matters and also has spoken to OPEC. Dr. Medlock will be a speaker at the Houston Strategy Forum's upcoming Global Gas and LNG Symposium. We're really excited and looking forward to host him. I hope you all will join us at the symposium. I am Ravi Kathuria, the president of the Houston Strategy Forum and author of the management leadership book, How Cohesive is Your Company, and author of the book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind. Strategic Conversations is hosted by the Houston Strategy Forum. If you like and enjoy these conversations, please hit like and subscribe to the Houston Strategy Forum's YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by Cohegic, my management consulting and executive coaching firm. Thank you all for joining us. We are thrilled to have Dr. Medlock join us today. Ken, thank you so much, sir, for taking the time. We're looking forward to some insightful discussions. We're looking forward to learning a lot from you today, sir.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sir, I was going through your accomplishments. I mean, I don't know how you have managed to achieve all of that. It really is impressive, the body of work that you have created. But as you close your eyes and think back about the work that you have done, what would you say is the work that you cherish the most? What is an accomplishment? What is an aspect of your career that would jump to your mind?
Probably the most rewarding aspect of what I do is related to the work I do with people.
Okay.
So this is teaching, this is mentoring, this is advisement of graduate students, this is working with my colleagues here at the Baker Institute, as well as other institutions around the world. That, to me, is the most rewarding aspect of anything that I do. And in fact, it trumps any of the awards that I've received. I mean, I would trade those all in for the ability to be able to, work with the fantastic people that I've been privileged to work with throughout my career.
How cool is that? How cool is that? And what a blessing it would be for all of these students and folks to benefit from that. Tell me how easy it is in this day and age, as the newer generation, their way of thinking is different than at least, my generation, if you will. So how do you relate? Do you have to change the way you relate to them? Do you have to change the way in which you share information to engage them?
It's a good question. I get different versions of that question often, and apologies for the noise in the background. They're doing construction in our building, and for some reason at this time of day they decided to start sawing things, so nothing I can do about it. My door is closed, by the way, so
yes. No.
But yeah, in terms of communicating with students, the one thing that has been universal in all the years of my interactions with students, and this goes back to when I was a graduate student. So I've been teaching collectively, all told, 23 years now. the one thing that's generally been true is there's a general thirst for knowledge,
Okay.
and a general desire to tackle really interesting problems. So in many ways, teaching is about framing some of the world's most challenging obstacles or
Yes.
problems that we face in
Yes.
ways that can be relatable to the material we're discussing in the coursework or in their course of study, or their thesis, or whatever it may be, so that they can see how what they're doing touches these really interesting problems. And if you think about the world today, we've got a lot of really interesting problems to solve, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter really where these individuals are from in the world. And Rice has a very international cohort of students, so all over the world. It doesn't really matter what socioeconomic background they're from. That is a universal truth that I've seen over the years. They just want interesting problems to solve. The thing that's probably the most different today is the way in which they go about solving problems or finding information or communicating results of things that they're working on or seeing. You think back to when, I was growing up, or when you were growing up, or most of the audience was probably growing up. We didn't have cell phones in our pockets. We didn't have iPads at our fingertips. I think about my youngest is 10, and he's always had, an iPad or an iPhone. It's just sort of an outgrowth of their existence, right? It's
since he was 7 months old or even earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So it's remarkable to see how they integrate these technologies so seamlessly into everything that they do. And I think that's the biggest difference about today's youth is they have information at their fingertips, and they have no qualms about accessing it anytime they want, right? It's if I want to know something, I know exactly how to find it and where to find it and how to look it up. And so a lot of the challenge in the classroom is teaching them how to look deeper. So when you talk about an interesting problem, the answer isn't as simple as I can Google the answer to that. Not always, right? You can Google an answer, but it's not necessarily going to be the answer. So it really is about teaching them how to dig, how to look deeper at issues and think more holistically about things.
I love that. And I am guilty of sitting in a doctor's office arguing with the doctor about my knowledge base that I have collected from Google, right? And
WebMD, huh? Yeah.
And I have, and my wife looks at me, but I can see it on the doctor's face. The doctor is thinking, "Excuse me, you have done 3 days of research. I realize it's close to you, but I have 30 years of research."
That is a great example, and it is a microcosm of the world we live in today. I mean, with so much information at your fingertips, you can access enough to be dangerous, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not dangerous to yourself. So, it's important to dig deeper on things that matter, without a doubt.
And so what I find is that the most successful doctor is not the doctor who just has the knowledge, but is the doctor who can understand the psychology of the patient and work with that. And so, to your point, as a teacher, right? As a knowledge sharer, you always have to now be ready to work with the psychology of the students and help them. And I love the point that you made, is that you have to teach them to respect and appreciate the deeper dive, the perspectives that they don't have. I am an executive coach, and I almost have to do the same things when I coach executives. Sometimes they have a very superficial view of the organization, right? They want results, and they think by snapping the fingers that the organization is going to respond. And you go, well, if that was going to happen, you would have achieved that 10 years ago. The fact that you're still grappling and that you're still complaining, it means that the organization will change, but you are not truly understanding all that is going to take to move the organization.
No, that's definitely true. I mean, it's to just cement the point. I noticed, gosh, probably 7 or 8 years ago, it was a really interesting occurrence because students will come in with their laptops and they take notes that way instead of with a pen and paper now, right? Most of them.
Yes, yes,
And you'll see every now and again, you'll say something that might challenge their own conventional wisdom, or you're teaching a lesson and you demonstrate some mathematical toolkit to evaluate a problem,
yes,
and
yes.
it leads to a result they didn't anticipate. They'll instantly start Googling things and looking it up online to see if, is this guy really telling me the truth? And it's kind of funny, but it's actually great because then they say, oh yeah, he's right. And it kind of cements that point that you've got to think deeper. So
Yes, yes,
absolutely.
yes. Wonderful. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that. And thank you for training the leaders of tomorrow.